She was a mother struggling with grief.
She was just devastated by the loss. Her daughter was murdered.
Your child's not supposed to die before you.
Had her pain finally proven too much?
She was self-medicating,
which we believe led to some type of substance abuse.
And her secret life would lead to dangerous encounters.
She turned into a different person.
Once she gets to crack and everything, she like a doctor's for Miss Hyde. She gets in that stage where she like women, you know. She like what now? She like women.
She wanted to have some type of romantic or sexual encounter with her. This possibly could have been a crime that involved a sexual assault.
Now police are left wondering how one woman's hidden desire could have led to such an awful end.
The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the back of the head.
When you're shot in the back of the head, that's pretty much an execution every time. And so the question becomes, could those two things be related?
August 27th, 2013. It's a sweltering Tuesday afternoon in Jackson, Mississippi, a deep South city of nearly 175,000.
Jackson is central Mississippi. Of course, we are the capital of the state.
Jackson is a very rich place with a lot of culture, a lot of different people of all different races and things like that.
But you still had a regular amount of crime in some areas. And you do have the harder areas where you are going to have a lot more crime.
All those troubles seem miles away that afternoon as a deacon from a prominent Jackson church walks the church's property on the city's far western fringe.
This particular property was kind of out a little bit.
It's essentially a church-owned park with a riding and walking trail around a small lake.
So the deacon, he maintains the property, and he also collects fishing fees from individuals that they're allowed to fish.
But that afternoon, the deacon notices something unusual.
There were quite a few buzzards circling over the area on the property.
He thought somebody left some trash.
Although, as he gets closer, the deacon realizes that it isn't trash the birds are circling. It's a dead body.
He was pretty shocked when he saw something that looks like a body covered in plastic and immediately called 911.
This Deacon Roberts, yes, I need the police immediately.
Police then contacted the Robbery Homicide Division of Jackson Police Department to respond to the address.
When detectives arrive, they find what appears to be the body of an African-American woman.
Police arrive and they do ascertain that she's been shot in the head.
The body has no ID and is decomposed beyond recognition.
We figured that the body had been there at least 5 days.
Despite the fact there is no identification on the scene, detectives believe they know the dead woman's name. Based on a recent missing persons report, the victim matches the description of Jackson resident Felicia Spann. 41-year-old Felicia Spann's life had always centered on her two daughters, Felicia and Quintina Miller.
Felicia was a single mom raising two daughters basically on her own.
It was a struggle, but Felicia never let it get her down.
She seemed to be a fun person, an outgoing person.
And by 2010, the single mom was looking forward to the next stage in her life. With her daughters almost grown, Felicia could finally start thinking about herself. But that spring, Felicia's life took a horrific turn.
Felicia Spann's daughter, Felicia Miller, was killed.
Her daughter was in the West Jackson area, which is near a major corridor of the I-20 highway.
She is shot and left for dead.
She was only 16 years old.
Sorry for your loss, Miss Spann. We're going to find out who did this.
No. Oh.
What is it, Mama?
Oh, baby.
Detectives identified her daughter's boyfriend, 18-year-old Jawan Moore, as a suspect.
The couple had gotten into an argument earlier that evening.
We believe that there may have been more than one individual possibly involved, but ultimately, Juwan Moore was arrested and he was charged with her death.
But despite having a suspect in custody, the investigation stalled.
We didn't get a lot of information. Some individuals didn't want to speak to police, or some of these individuals gave conflicting information or evidence.
There were just no witnesses or forensic evidence that tied him to the shot that killed his girlfriend.
As a result, the DA dropped all charges against Juwan, and no one else was ever charged. Heartbroken by her daughter's death, Felicia was convinced that justice had failed.
There was no closure to that case. The pain that she was going through was too much.
Your child's not supposed to die before you.
Devastated by the tragedy, Felicia struggled to keep going.
She turns to various ways to comfort herself and to take the pain away.
Unfortunately for Felicia, she turned to drugs to mask all the pain she was going through.
She was looking for any comfort, any solace that she could find.
Felicia's mother and daughter, Quintina, stood by her, hoping she could eventually overcome the trauma of her other daughter's tragic death.
When someone is going through addiction, it is a coping mechanism. There is some pain there that they're trying to solve.
Her family had obviously hoped that as time went on, she'd find a way to handle her grief without the use of drugs.
Felicia also tried finding comfort in romantic relationships, but her grief kept her from making a meaningful connection. And even 3 years after her daughter's murder, Felicia still struggled.
Drug use impacts people a lot.
She couldn't cope with the pain.
Felicia had fallen so deep into despair that when she didn't respond to phone calls on Saturday, August 24th, 2013, her family feared the worst.
When you're dealing with someone with a substance abuse problem, you're always worried about the possibility of an overdose or an accident.
So that afternoon, Felicia's daughter, Quintina, turned to the police.
I'd like to file a missing person report, please. It's my mom, Felicia Span.
Now, just 3 days later, on August 27th, homicide detectives suspect the woman found by the church deacon is Felicia Span.
The body had been there for days, so it was badly decomposed.
At the time we discovered the remains, we couldn't confirm whether it was her or not. However, we did have a strong belief.
The woman appears to be the victim of a single gunshot wound to the head. But is this woman Felicia Span? And if so, how is it possible she suffered the same fate as her daughter?
You always want to go a little bit further, dig deeper to see, is there really a connection?
3 years after her daughter's murder, 41-year-old Felicia Span was still battling with her loss.
Felicia Span was definitely a woman who had endured tragedy. She was a mother that endured pain.
But now, detectives in Jackson, Mississippi suspect Felicia may have suffered the same fate as her daughter.
A church deacon found the decomposing remains of an African-American woman dumped on their property near the lake.
There had been an official missing person report filed for Felicia Span about 3 days before the discovery of these remains.
Is it Felicia? Detectives can't say for sure.
The body was in advanced stages of decomposition at the time that she was discovered.
So they try to, find out how this body ended up in this church property, why it would have been there.
But for the moment, detectives can't rule out the possibility that the victim had been killed somewhere else. Hoping to determine if the victim was dumped or killed at the scene, CSI searched the surrounding area.
The first thing we started looking at is, were there any tire tracks leading up to the body? Because we have to decide if the body was actually dumped. Take a look and take photos to see were there any different tire markings, dragging marks, so on and so forth.
This crime scene was large. We collected every piece of evidence that we believed to be connected to this incident.
And at that point, of course, the coroner comes and is packaging up the body.
We believe that the remains were that of Felicia Spann. Of course, we had to await the final ruling from the coroner and a medical examiner.
While the coroner's team works, detectives canvass the area.
Police talk to the deacon at the church and try to find out, does anybody know who this is? Where did she come from?
The deacon said that it had been a week since he had last checked on the property.
Interviewing adjacent property owners also yields little information.
None of the neighbors had recalled seeing anything unusual during this time.
Detectives appear at an impasse. But the next morning, the coroner's report confirms their victim's identity.
The fingerprints were analyzed, and they did come back to Felicia Spann.
In addition to establishing Felicia's identity, the autopsy confirms another of the detective's suspicions.
The cause of death was a gunshot wound to the back of the head.
Jackson homicide detectives now have conclusive evidence of a murder.
When you're shot in the back of the head, that's pretty much an execution every time.
But for now, the other evidence collected at the scene offers little in the way of leads. And the autopsy did not reveal any recent sexual activity, ruling out a possible sexual assault.
There were bed sheets and linen found around the body. The condom was found as well, but we ruled this out during the course of the investigation. We didn't believe that they had any bearing on the murder.
Detectives' next step is contacting Felicia's family.
Police had the duty of letting Felicia's family know that she had been murdered.
I've conducted several hundreds of death notifications during my career, and I can tell you it's not an easy thing for the individual that's delivering the news that these remains had positively been identified as Felicia Spann, and we were conducting a murder investigation.
While the news of Felicia's death is devastating, they had been preparing for this moment for some time.
The family knew all about Felicia's descent into drug abuse.
Her daughter is the one that had reported her missing prior to the discovery of the remains.
But the news that Felicia had been murdered and not overdosed is an unexpected shock.
This was double devastation because Felicia had also lost her daughter in a similar fashion.
In fact, Felicia's mother and daughter are both too distraught to answer more than a few questions.
The mother couldn't give us really too much information other than the last time that they saw her was Friday.
They did know that Felicia Spann had gone out with some friends on that Friday night.
Detectives arranged to speak with Felicia's daughter more in depth the next day, once she's had time to recover from her shock.
In the meantime, the details of Felicia's murder are strikingly similar to her daughter's, leaving detectives to wonder if the two crimes were connected.
Being a homicide detective, you always kind of get that feeling.
Her daughter's murder is still an open case, and the killer is out there somewhere.
Could the same person who killed Felicia's daughter come after Felicia as well?
Detectives need to find out who was the last person to see Felicia alive. But when detectives get a lead on who that is, the investigation will reveal a different side of Felicia Spann.
There are parts of herself that she had kept secret from our family.
Police in Jackson, Mississippi are investigating the murder of 41-year-old Felicia Spann, found dead in a church-owned recreation area 3 years after the still unsolved murder of her teenage daughter.
Her mother then, a few years later, is shot in the head as well. And so the question becomes, could those two things be related?
You always want to go a little bit further to see or to dig deeper to see, is there really a connection?
After talking to Felicia's family, detectives pull the files on her daughter's murder.
Her daughter was killed in the West Jackson area.
The daughter's boyfriend, Jawan Moore, who was the original suspect in that case, still lives in the area.
because of her daughter's murder. We tried to see if we could connect the two.
But after reviewing the files, it appears to be a dead end.
There was just no evidence or anything to make us believe that the two of these incidents had been connected. They were just both unfortunate tragedies.
However, while the murders don't appear directly connected, that doesn't necessarily mean they're unrelated.
They were connected in that Felicia Spann, dealing with that grief and trauma of losing her daughter, may have started turning to other things and other people that maybe she wouldn't have associated with beforehand.
Hoping one of those new associates might be the key to solving the case, detectives try to identify the last people who'd been in contact with Felicia.
As usual in a homicide investigation, police did search her phone and her phone records.
Felicia made her last outgoing call late on Friday night.
Since Felicia disappeared the following Saturday, detectives figure she must have been killed sometime late Friday or early Saturday morning.
But that final call was only one of multiple calls Felicia had made that evening.
Those phone numbers were very important because these are known individuals that Felicia Spann spoke with at the time and prior to her being reported missing.
She called the phone numbers back to back to back to back, which led us to believe that she was trying to get somewhere. She was looking for a ride.
She may have stayed with friends, and these individuals may have had knowledge of her last known whereabouts. Therefore, we consider them to be key people during the course of the investigation.
However, there's one number on the list that won't be easy for detectives to identify.
One of those was a burner phone. It was a number that went to a prepaid cell phone.
Could that number be connected to the killer? When detectives track the number down, their suspicions deepen.
By the time police were able to call it, it had been disconnected.
The burner phone appears to be a possible lead, but the priority for detectives is to speak with Felicia's daughter, Quintina, to see if she can shed light on the people Felicia had been in contact with.
We end up talking to her daughter to actually get an approximate time she left the house and who did she talk to in reference to where did she go.
Felicia's daughter says she'd last spoken to her mother early Friday evening.
Did she say anything was wrong? Any problems?
No, it was a Friday night. Everything was good.
Her mom had been hanging out with some friends. The daughter was able to identify some of the telephone numbers of the individuals that she believed to have been hanging out with as well.
Some of those people she would have been better off not knowing.
What do you mean?
They just weren't good for her.
Felicia's daughter explained that her mother had fallen in with a rough crowd in the years after her sister's murder.
The death of her daughter took a toll on her over the years and ultimately led to some type of substance abuse.
That's why I was so worried when I couldn't get in contact with her. I thought something might have happened to her.
Her daughter did give us a wealth of information for us to follow up on, to go back and trace some of the whereabouts, locations, and individuals that Felicia Spann had been affiliated with prior to her being reported missing.
Felicia's daughter mentions one person in particular, a man named Jeremy Floyd. Quintina knew Jeremy was friends with her mother, and he even had Quintina's number, but she didn't know if they were intimate or if Felicia had a boyfriend at all.
There are parts of herself that she had kept secret from our family.
Floyd is one of the people that detectives have already identified from Felicia's phone records.
The daughter advised that she had been in contact with Jeremy Floyd.
In fact, she says that Jeremy called several times that Saturday asking about her mom.
According to Felicia's daughter, Floyd had even come by her apartment on Sunday.
I was wondering if you heard from Felicia.
Jeremy
No, I
Floyd
haven't talked to her today.
did seem to portray a suspicious type of behavior. He had been asking several questions to Felicia Spann's daughter, trying to get information from her.
It's almost as if he was trying to figure out if Felicia had been reported missing and if the police were looking for her.
All Felicia's daughter knows for sure is that Floyd called her again on Tuesday evening.
Yeah, he called me right after it was on TV. He asked me if it was my mom.
Was Jeremy genuinely concerned about Felicia, or was he worried because he already knew she was dead?
Detectives investigating the murder of 41-year-old Felicia Spann have just received what appears to be a promising lead about a man named Jeremy Floyd.
Jeremy Floyd called Felicia's daughter after hearing a news report about an unidentified body being found.
Detectives were wondering, why would he immediately think it's Felicia? Unless he already knew she was dead.
We believed at the time that he had a wealth of information or knowledge as it relates to her death.
However, finding Jeremy Floyd proves difficult.
Detectives left him several messages and went to the address they found for him, but they were unable to reach him.
Still hoping to hear back from Floyd, detectives move on to the other names that Felicia's daughter gave them.
Felicia had been in close contact with several people that day, and you have to try and figure out who would have seen her last.
One of the first people they speak to is a man named Aaron Blake. Aaron tells detectives that he last saw Felicia on Friday night.
There's a bunch of people over here, just talking and having a few drinks, but Felicia, she didn't stay very late.
They were all having a good time, hanging out, and Felicia wanted to have maybe a little bit more fun. They don't know where she was going, but they know she wanted to leave.
She wanted to leave about 7 o'clock that evening. She did try to get one of them to take her somewhere. She also made several phone calls.
She was on her phone trying to get somebody to come pick her up.
Blake's story fits with what detectives already knew from Felicia's phone records.
Do you remember her talking to somebody named Jeremy Floyd?
No, I don't remember him.
There's only one name that Blake remembers, one detectives haven't heard before.
I know she called a dude named Donovan.
Could Donovan be the person with the suspicious burner phone?
Aaron doesn't know. All he can tell detectives for sure is that Felicia never found the ride she was looking for.
When she couldn't get anybody to pick her up, she, set out on foot.
Blake says he has no idea where Felicia was heading. To detectives, it's clear there are multiple men in Felicia's life, but so far, none of them seems to be romantically connected to her. But finally, they track down one of the men, who they hope can answer the question of what happened to Felicia Spann.
The following morning, detectives finally heard back from Jeremy Floyd, who agreed to come in for questioning.
Once Floyd sits down with detectives, he claims that he has nothing to hide.
He admitted that he called Felicia's daughter and had gone by her house, but it was only because he was worried about Felicia.
So why are you so worried about Felicia?
Because I tried calling her, and I didn't hear back from her.
Jeremy says that they typically spoke almost every day, and that Felicia depended on him for rides, but that they were friends and nothing more.
He would pick her up and they would go places and different drug houses and things like that.
Is that where you went Friday night?
We didn't go anywhere. We just drove around.
Jeremy claims that while they were driving around, Felicia was on the phone trying to meet up with someone else.
Do you know his name?
No. She just said to drop her off and that she'd have somebody pick her up later.
Where did you drop her off?
He was able to direct them to a home on Tennessee Street.
Tennessee Street is a high crime area in Jackson, a real hotspot for drug and gang activity.
Is Jeremy telling detectives the whole story? With no evidence tying him to Felicia's murder, they decide to follow the lead he's given them. When detectives visit the address on Tennessee Street, Jeremy's story appears to check out.
It did turn out that this was a drug house.
If this house is where Jeremy dropped off Felicia, then this explains why he would be worried about her and might suspect the body on the news was Felicia.
But tracking Felicia to a drug house may make finding her killer that much harder.
When you're dealing with people who are involved with drugs, they don't want to tell us all the information that they have, bits and pieces of it, but never all of it.
Unfortunately, The investigation stalls at the house on Tennessee Street.
The case dragged on for months and months. It was starting to get stale. We're thinking, is anyone going to be arrested in the murder of Felicia?
It's an agonizing thought for Felicia's family.
For family, if it's not leading to any type of justice, that's hard because you want to know what happened to her.
I can't imagine how much harder this is for Felicia's family because they've been through this before, about 3 years earlier with Felicia's daughter.
To have two murders in one close-knit family and neither of them be solved, the family was just dealing with so much.
By late November 2013, Felicia Span's murder is looking more and more like it will remain unsolved.
The media talked about a cold case because police were playing it close to the vest while they didn't have a suspect.
But will a single phone call turn this cold case red hot?
A defense attorney called and said that he had a client who was willing to share what happened to Felicia.
It just happened so fast, man. All I know, I seen a cocky thing and the gun went off.
He said he knows who murdered her.
3 months after a church deacon discovered Felicia Span murdered on the outskirts of Jackson, Mississippi, detectives investigating the murder fear the case is going cold.
This incident happened in August. We didn't get a break on the investigation until November.
The break comes on November 26th.
The defense attorney comes forward and says, I've got a client who says that he witnessed a murder. If you guys will give him immunity, we would be glad for him to tell you what he saw.
The offer puts detectives in a bind.
People are reluctant to talk to police. So we have to get information any way we can.
But they were also dealing with a murder. And since he was asking for immunity, it sounded like their informant could be involved.
The police come back and say, we can't promise that. You've got to go ahead and tell us what you know.
Despite refusing to offer upfront immunity, the attorney arranges for his client to come in for an interview. The man is 48-year-old Donovan Walker, a name that's already been brought up in the investigation once.
I know she called a dude named Donovan.
Once in the interrogation room, he tells the investigators that he was a friend of Felicia Span.
They had done drugs together, and they had, at some point, had an intimate relationship.
Although Donovan says it was drugs that brought Felicia to his place late on the Friday night that she disappeared.
She made a call and told me she was at my back door.
Donovan Walker lives there on Tennessee Street and was able to confirm to the police that that burner phone was his.
She was trying to get rid of some marijuana.
Donovan tells police that he let Felicia come inside to make a drug trade.
He says the only other person in the house was his girlfriend, 34-year-old Hanifa Muhammad.
According to Donovan, Hanifa was in the living room hanging out when Felicia arrived.
Donovan says that while he and Felicia worked out a deal for the marijuana, Hanifa excused herself to the bedroom.
I had a piece of dope, and I swapped the crack for the marijuana. And she hit the crack, sitting right there.
Donovan says that was when the trouble started.
Donovan said every time Felicia would get high, her personality would change.
Donovan expressed to us that whenever she used drugs, that she would get kind of out of her mind a little bit.
She gets in that stage, it's like a doctor's X for Mr. Hyde.
According to Donovan, that may have explained what Felicia supposedly did next.
She went in there to the bedroom where my girl was laying down asleep. Once she hit the crack and everything, she like women, She like what now? She like women, Everybody know that.
Donovan said when Felicia would get high, their inhibitions were lower.
He said that Felicia Span had made some kind of a sexual advance toward Hanifa Muhammad.
She went and slapped my girl on the ass in a sexual manner, I guess.
At least that's what Hanifa thought Felicia was doing. And Hanifa became enraged.
I run into me. And the girl had jumped up.
Well, I
Going
just
on?
came to see if you was okay. I just
That's it.
I said, well, you got to go.
Donovan says that while he and Felicia argued, Hanifa decided to escalate the standoff.
She went and got a gun.
She said she was going to scare her out. Well, she wouldn't come back.
But according to Donovan, things didn't go exactly as Hanifa intended.
She was going to shoot in the air and make it tell her don't come back there no more. But when she went up with the gun like this, the gun went off.
The gun went off and shot Felicia in the back of the head.
Donovan claims Felicia had been killed instantly.
Once she had died, the two of them had to figure out what to do.
I said, we need to call the police. She said, no, what, you going to snitch on me? I said, snitch on you? This girl is dead.
I didn't bring her in this house. You did.
She said, what you need to do is help me dispose of this body.
Being that they're in a relationship, he says that he followed her orders.
What happened after that? We moved the body.
He helped Muhammad wrap Span's body up in plastic, and they took it out to the church and dumped it.
Donovan also claims that after they left Felicia on the church grounds, he got rid of the gun.
He threw the murder weapon in an open field.
We were unsuccessful in locating the weapon at that time.
Even without the murder weapon, the police and prosecutors are convinced they have a solid case.
Based on information that he gave us, we believe that to be enough evidence to secure a warrant for him for the charge of murder.
The prosecutor figured it was the first step towards leveraging a deal with Donovan. Plead guilty to a lesser charge in return for a testimony against Hanifa Muhammad.
But first, the case against Donovan will have to go before the grand jury.
The district attorneys and detectives presented all the evidence they had before a jury and tried to secure a charge against Mr. Walker.
The case is dealt an unexpected setback when the grand jury decides there is not enough evidence to charge Donovan Walker with murder.
Donovan receives a no bill, which means that he is not going to be charged with the deaths of Felicia Span.
The police were completely taken aback.
But it's even worse for Felicia's family.
They've already lived this once. They've already lost one of their loved ones, and it was never solved.
And now it looks like there may be no justice for Felicia either.
Donovan Walker has told detectives investigating the death of Felicia Span that his girlfriend, Hanifa Muhammad, accidentally shot the 41-year-old during an altercation in his home.
His story was, yes, Miss Muhammad did shoot Felicia. Yes, I did help transport the body.
But despite his confession, Donovan Walker remains a free man.
The grand jury doesn't think he had anything to do with it, or at least not enough to take him to trial.
It was a big shock to detectives. We thought we had a strong case that he should have been charged with murder.
The news of Donovan Walker's release is hard for Felicia's family to understand.
They're looking at a situation where their loved one has been shot in the head and there are no answers.
But detectives aren't about to give up.
Detectives figured their only chance was to bring Hanifa in and see if she cracks when confronted with Donovan's story.
Finding Hanifa proves difficult, however.
We believe that she had been hiding from the police.
It's not until August 12, 2014, almost a year after Felicia's death, that detectives finally track her down.
We got a tip that Miss Hanifa was at a location. Officers then went to this location.
Come on out.
They were able to locate her in a bedroom.
We then advised her that, did you know the police that were looking for you? She said, yes, but I figured they don't need to question me because I don't know too much.
Despite her initial denial, once back at the station, Hanifa has plenty to tell detectives, and they are shocked with how quickly she reveals the truth.
She gave us a statement advising that she did shoot Felicia Spann in the back of the head.
Hanifa tells police that Felicia Spann did come over and try to exchange drugs.
Hanifa's story to police is that they all got a little bit under the influence of alcohol and potentially drugs.
Hanifa says that she eventually did head back to the bedroom.
I was tired, so I went and lay down on the bed.
So you were alone in the bedroom?
Yeah, I was at first.
Until Felicia came into the room.
Hey, girl.
Felicia Spann tapped Hanifa Muhammad on the buttocks as if she wanted to have some type of romantic or sexual encounter with her.
I just don't do that. Another woman? You know, I don't do that.
So what happened there?
Hanifa said that she told Felicia to get out.
Hell no. Whoa, what are you doing? Why don't you just chill out?
Hey, what's going on?
Once the argument ensued, Donovan came and kind of dispersed the two.
I want her out.
Hanifa told the detectives that she got her handgun from her bedroom.
I just had it for protection. I thought if she saw it, she'd get scared and just leave.
She then was raising the weapon, and the weapon then discharged, shooting Felicia Spann in the back of the head.
I didn't mean to kill her.
But based on Donovan's account of how enraged Hanifa had been by Felicia's alleged advances, detectives doubt Hanifa's claims that it was an accident.
We believe there was an intentional gunshot wound to the back of the head.
But whether Felicia's death was an accident or not, there's no denying that Hanifa and Donovan tried to hide what had transpired.
No, how are we going to explain this?
Donovan advised that he know where he could take the body.
He'd been to the lake on the property owned by the church, so he knew how secluded it was out there. By the time anyone found the body, there'd be no way they'd be able to connect them to Felicia's death.
So Hanifa says she helped Donovan wrap the body in a plastic tarp and dump it near the lake.
Donovan then took some clothing, shoes that he had on that were bloodied from Felicia's blood, dumped them in a dumpster, telling Miss Hanifa that nobody needs to know about this.
Detectives aren't sure who's telling the truth.
While speaking with Donovan, he gave me kind of the sense of he's just trying to beat Hanifa to the punch.
It's pretty clear Donovan hoped coming forward voluntarily might be enough to keep him out of prison.
However, between the two statements, there is no doubt that it was Hanifa who fired the fatal shot.
The case was tight on actually who pulled the trigger.
And this time, the grand jury agrees.
She was charged with a second-degree murder.
Hanifa pled guilty.
She was sentenced to 40 years in prison with 20 years suspended and 20 years to serve.
It brought a lot of closure to know that someone was going to be serving some time for Felicia Spann's murder, where her daughter, there's still no arrest in the case.
Donovan Walker, who helped Hanifa hide Felicia's body, has never paid a price for what he did either.
And while Felicia's murder has been solved, the outcome does little to dull the pain of losing her.
It was a senseless killing. You pulled the gun out just to scare someone, and someone actually ended up losing their life. And it's just senseless.
Losing your daughter in that manner and then dying the same way makes it to me even more of a tragedy.
She was a hardworking young woman with a taste for adventure.
She just wanted to move and explore a new city.
She was a pretty cool, down-to-earth person.
In her new home, sparks flew.
She had met the perfect guy for her. We're all pushing for them to be married.
Are you okay?
But her promising romance ended in tragedy.
There was blood around her.
She had multiple gunshot wounds.
I just couldn't believe it.
Had her wild past caught up with her?
They had been shot at
There were rumors about drug dealing.
Did they do anything illegal that you...
Was she murdered by a jealous rival?
He had been secretly cheating on her.
Or was her killer driven by something even more sinister?
He said, I want you to kill him.
It's a series of escalated incidents.
Was she pretty violent with you? Yes, she was.
We don't know her whole story.
And I know if I say no, he gonna shoot me.
You don't go from being in love to where they ended up.
June 4th, 2007. It's before sunrise on Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee, as residents get ready to head back to work after a busy weekend in Music City.
Nashville, to me, is a city that's on the rise. A lot of people are coming here.
We're a pretty booming city. It's just growing in leaps and bounds.
Although the major interstates are bustling, one stretch of highway on the outskirts of town feels more rural.
In the area of Briley Parkway and Ashland City Highway, there's nothing there for anybody to see.
But one commuter will soon make an alarming discovery along this country highway.
He notices something on the side of the road, so he pulls over.
He saw a woman laying face down. He thought maybe she had had too much to drink.
Hey! He got out, he approached, he called out, "Are you okay?"
The woman doesn't respond, and when he gets closer, he sees what looks like blood in her hair.
She's face down, and there's blood pooled around her. It had a total appearance of some type of foul play.
The witness was pretty worried at this point, so he called 911.
Hello?
When officers arrive, it doesn't take them long to confirm that the woman is dead.
Did you see anybody else around?
No, I didn't see anybody else. They went ahead and called the North Precinct detectives for us to come out.
Detectives bring an investigator from the medical examiner's office with them to confirm how the victim died.
The medical examiner's office investigator found a gunshot wound to the left chest and a gunshot wound to the left side of the back of the head.
Detectives' next step is to try to determine who the victim might be.
They were unable to locate any obvious clues that would identify the woman.
We had a female that had kind of a light to medium skin tone, appeared to possibly be Hispanic.
There was no purse or wallet, no cell phone with the body, nothing that would give police her name.
We'll get some fingerprints, please.
However, when investigators take the woman's fingerprints and run them at the scene, it doesn't take them long to get a hit.
The fingerprints pulled up records for 24-year-old S30.E30.
The question now is, how did this young woman end up dead by the side of the highway?
This was such a puzzling, gruesome crime.
Originally from Puerto Rico, Zuri Villanueva moved with her family to the Nashville area when she was a teenager.
Her parents moved their family to the United States in search of a better life.
She was part of a really big family. She had 4 siblings. They were all a really tight-knit family.
Zuri Sadeh was known for her kind heart and for always putting her family first.
Zuri Sadeh was a sweet girl, someone who would always have your back.
She was very well loved.
Family really counted on her, her bright smile, her warm hugs. She was a bright light in this family.
As she reached her mid-20s, Zuri Sadeh started to long for something more than a city the size of Nashville could offer her.
She was very ambitious and wanted to explore a bigger city. So she went to Atlanta because it had more opportunities.
There was another reason for the move, too.
Zuri dated a guy named Dwayne Campbell for a couple of years, but they had a really bad breakup.
After breaking up with Dwayne, Zuri felt she was ready for a fresh start and to meet some new people, and she thought a new city was just the thing.
In Atlanta, Zuri Sadeh quickly established roots.
Zuri started bartending at a popular bar down in Atlanta. The money was good, and it was fun, too.
Eventually, her new job paid off in another way that she didn't expect.
Hey,
With this new life, she found a new love interest.
what can I get for you?
I'll take a beer.
Okay, coming right up.
His name was William Durrell Smith.
There was a pretty instantaneous attraction between the two of them when they met.
You looking real nice tonight.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
Like Zuri, 25-year-old William was also from Tennessee.
He was a long haul driver with a trucking company based in Nashville.
In trucks. Wow.
He drove through Atlanta. One of his routes was through there.
Mind if I get your number?
William became a regular at the bar whenever he was in Atlanta, and soon the two began seeing each other outside the bar as well.
They got close, and he started urging her to move back to Nashville with him.
Eventually, Zuri Sadeh agreed to accompany William back to Middle Tennessee.
She thought she'd found the perfect guy for her. They moved in right away together.
We brung her back. They had an apartment, a real expensive apartment in Goodlettsville.
And before long, William and Zuri Sadeh started thinking about buying a home of their own.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Glad to be here.
Luckily for the couple, William's cousin, Nikita Kirby, was a realtor.
They was looking for a house here in Middle Tennessee. The price range was from $500,000 to $1 million.
On a truck driver salary?
I asked about, how y'all gonna finance this?
Zuri Sadeh assured Nikita that money wasn't a problem.
She said, I have an annuity. So I went to my broker and, got all their information. It was verified. The money was there. She had over $1 million.
I'll talk to my agent and see what they can do for you.
The home would be the perfect place for the young couple to start a family together.
They wanted privacy, and the house they chose was set back from the road on a 20-acre plot.
Unfortunately, the purchase for that particular home didn't go through. But Zuri Sadeh and William kept their heads up and continued exploring the real estate market.
They were disappointed by the setback, but were determined to find another dream home.
But now, it looks like the couple's dream of owning a home will never be realized.
Are you okay?
On the morning of June 4th, 2007, Zuri Sadeh's body was found on the side of a rural Nashville highway.
Oh, no.
Was she the victim of a carjacking?
911?
Maybe she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
This wasn't something that you normally saw in this area of Nashville. The police needed answers before someone else got hurt.
24-year-old Zuri Sadeh Villanueva felt like she'd found true love with long-haul trucker William Durrell Smith.
I thought she was pretty good for him. I really did like her personality.
They moved in together really quickly and right away started planning their future together.
I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
They were even planning on buying a house together, even though they hadn't found the right one yet.
But now the couple's plans have come to a sudden end after Zuri Sadeh's body was found dumped on the side of a Nashville highway.
Some caller said that he was on his way to work, and he notices something on the side of the road. He pulls over, and he sees a woman who's unresponsive.
Can you get somebody down here right now?
When investigators arrived, they determined that Zuri Sadeh was shot in the chest and once in the head.
She might not have died from the gunshot wound to the torso had she had received medical attention immediately.
But the second shot behind her ear was fatal.
The gunshot to the head would have killed her almost instantly.
After identifying Zuri Sadeh and determining how she was shot, detectives began combing the scene for evidence.
Detective, look at this.
Police found 2 9mm shell casings on the ground near the body.
9 mil?
Based on the fact that the shell casings are found on the street, detectives must consider the possibility that Zuri Sadeh may have been killed elsewhere.
I felt that it either occurred in a vehicle and they were drug out and dumped, or it happened there. Shell casings can stay in the vehicle, or when you're pulling somebody out, they may get pulled out too. We've had that happen in cases before.
However, it's soon evident the altercation likely did take place right there along the highway.
They found signs of a struggle.
Right by her, there was an area that there may have been a scuffle.
And there's one more tantalizing clue nearby.
They do find a receipt from Walmart from the previous night.
Detectives aren't sure whether Zuri dropped the receipt or her killer did.
It seems unlikely that detectives will be able to find any witnesses who can point them in the direction of a suspect either.
We're looking up and down the street. It's kind of a rural area there. There's really nothing there.
As the sun comes up over Nashville, detectives head back to the station to contact the store where the receipt came from.
I'm calling to see about getting some surveillance footage.
Without any solid leads, detectives basically have to use the receipt to start their investigation.
Police officers went to the Walmart where the receipt originated and asked for surveillance camera footage.
In the surveillance footage, detectives spot a woman that looks like Zuri Sadeh.
That looks like her.
Nobody with her, though.
She had a key copied and left the store around 6:30. This would be about 12 hours before she was found dead.
So based on the surveillance footage, she was alone the entire time, so there's really no person of interest for them to look for.
Roller, come check this out.
Until detectives do a quick background check on their victim.
Turns out that Zuri had made several domestic violence reports in the past against a guy named Dwayne Campbell.
Dwayne was an ex-boyfriend of Zarisadeh's.
It's clear from the reports that Zuri Sadeh's relationship with Dwayne was highly volatile.
It was constant fighting and constant turmoil.
Is it possible that their breakup had pushed Dwayne over the edge?
He had every reason to want to harm Zuri Sadeh.
Let's go.
Detectives knew that they needed to speak with Dwayne Campbell immediately.
And soon, they'll get their chance.
How long did y'all's relationship last?
About a year and a half.
And during that year and a half, it was pretty rocky, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster ride.
Police in Nashville, Tennessee have just learned that murder victim Zuri Sadeh Villanueva had a violent relationship with a former boyfriend named Dwayne Campbell.
There were some domestic reports. There was a history of domestic violence.
Come check this out.
It's more than enough to arouse investigators' suspicion.
That's interesting.
That boyfriend was the first person that we probably initially really beeline for to try to find and see what was going on with him.
When investigators bring Dwayne in for an interview, he claims he had nothing to do with Zuri Sadeh's murder.
You know when the last time you actually saw her was?
The last time that I remember seeing her is when we first were breaking up years ago.
He immediately told detectives that he hadn't seen Zuri since they'd broken up several years prior to her moving to Atlanta.
How long did y'all's relationship last?
About a year and a half.
And during that year and a half, it was pretty rocky, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster ride.
To their surprise, Dwayne tells detectives that when it came to abuse, Zuri Sadeh could dish it out as well as she could take it.
Was she pretty violent with you?
Yes, she was. She got mad, and that's when she hit me.
Dwayne also says he wasn't even in the Briley Parkway area during the time of his ex's murder.
According to Dwayne, he was home alone the night of the murder, so it couldn't have been him.
This sort of alibi is going to be virtually impossible for detectives to verify.
Detectives are skeptical of Dwayne's account and wonder if he could have waited until now to exact his revenge on Zuri.
But without any concrete evidence against him, detectives are forced to let Dwayne go for now.
They just didn't have what they needed to hold Dwayne at the time, so they had to do a lot more digging.
Then detectives get a call from Zuri Sadeh's family, who has been reeling from the news of her death.
Detective Rowland.
They said they had some information that could aid in the investigation.
Oh, really?
They wanted to speak to the detectives immediately.
Detectives rush over to the Villanueva home.
But the family's devastated. Zuri Sade lived a quiet, unassuming life. It's really unclear why anyone would want her dead.
They were in shock. I'm sure that they were emotional.
There were some tears, but they were also angry and they wanted to help.
Zuri Sade's family says she had recently begun dating someone new she'd met in Atlanta.
I remember his name being Willing.
This was the first time that detectives were hearing William Smith's name.
According to Zuri Sade's family, things between the couple seemed good at first. But after they moved back to Nashville, the relationship started taking a downward turn.
Okay, was there any incidents that you can recall where they had blow-ups?
Only argument. Verbal argument that she needed to cry and talk to someone. She would talk to me.
During this time, him and her trying to stay together, but they're fighting.
Do you know what they were arguing about?
They had told her that she didn't feel comfortable in the relationship. There might have been some infidelity.
The truth is that it could have been about something else, but she wouldn't give me details.
According to the family, Zuri Sade really wanted to make things work with William, and the pair even started looking for a home of their own.
The family said that when the couple finally made an offer on their dream home, things began to look up.
But there was a problem when it came time to finalize the contract.
The couple's plan to purchase their dream home had just fallen through.
They lost the bid that they had put on the house.
The disappointment was hard for either of them to accept.
The family reported that losing the house caused a lot of strain for their relationship.
The family did speak of domestic violence.
He was locking her out of a house, and leaving her at parks in the middle of the night.
But the strain in the couple's relationship wasn't the only thing that worried Zuri Sade's family.
Zuri Sade's family was afraid that she had gotten connected with some dangerous people.
Did they do anything illegal that you were aware of?
The family did tell me that she was kind of a self-proclaimed drug dealer.
Tell me what.
I overheard conversations. Trafficking. I'm not familiar with the lingo. I think it was marijuana.
Detectives were wondering if Zuri Sade and William got into some sort of drug beef that led to her death.
Back at the station, detectives began trying to contact William.
If anybody could provide more information about the drug business that Zuri Sade had been involved in, it was William, because allegedly he'd been involved too.
Detectives also had to wonder about William himself. Could he have been the one to kill Zuri Sade? After all, it sounded like their relationship had become exceedingly rocky in recent months.
Unfortunately, William isn't an easy guy to get a hold of. He's not responding to any of their calls or messages.
The next morning, detectives are still trying to track down William Smith when they get an unexpected visitor.
William's cousin, Nikita Kirby, comes forward.
Nikita tells detectives that she may have some information in the search for Zuri Sade's killer.
Someone shot at them while they were eating. Their car had been shot at. Somebody was trying to kill him.
It was beginning to look like someone was out to get both Zuri Sade and William.
Police investigating the murder of 24-year-old Zuri Sade Villanueva have just learned some shocking new information.
Nikita Kirby, the cousin of Zuri's boyfriend, William, claimed that the couple had been the target of gunfire just weeks earlier.
They had taken Zuri's car one night to go out to dinner.
As they were parking, getting out of the car, another car pulled up and started shooting.
Zuri Sade and William ducked out of the line of fire and stayed hidden until the vehicle left.
I have no idea who shot at him. He just told me they were shot at.
Nikita says that the couple never filed a police report for fear of retribution. And when she heard about Zuri Sade's murder, she immediately thought it could have something to do with this earlier incident.
Nikita repeatedly tried calling William, but she could never reach him. He wasn't answering anybody's calls.
I initially thought when we couldn't find him, that he was dead too.
Why do you think that?
Because of what happened before with the shooting?
I'm thinking if she's dead, somebody's looking to kill him.
But when William showed up at her house shortly thereafter, Nikita tells police she was both surprised and relieved.
What are you doing here? He popped up. No car, no nothing. He was just in my backyard. He appeared to be shaken up and afraid.
Do you know the police are looking for you? Do you know she's dead?
Yeah, I know.
I thought he knew somebody had killed her and they was looking for him.
Out of fear for her own safety, Nikita didn't invite her cousin inside.
Can I come in? No, William, I'm sorry. You can't.
He's my cousin. I love him, but something that night just kind of made me fearful. And I was just like, look, you can go home or go to your daddy's or contact whoever it is you need to contact.
Nikita says she hasn't seen him since and really has no idea where he is now.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
After speaking with Nikita, detectives are more eager than ever to track down William. But then they receive a phone call with another promising new lead.
A woman calls who says she has some information that could help them.
The woman says she's a friend of Zurisadeh's.
Zurisadeh's friend confirms the family's claim that Zurisadeh's relationship with William had been plagued with infidelity.
He hadn't been entirely faithful.
He didn't just cheat on her once. He had been secretly seeing a woman for the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
According to the caller, that woman's name is Janet Clausen.
Janet was starting to cause some problems in Zuri and William's relationship.
She was growing increasingly possessive. She would have fits of jealousy.
The caller says that she doesn't believe Zurisadeh and Janet ever really met, but that they got into it on the phone.
This leaves detectives wondering, could this have something to do with Zurisadeh's murder?
Maybe the fact that William and Zurisadeh had been house hunting convinced Janet that she was losing to her rival, and Zurisadeh had to be taken out of the picture.
At this point, detectives are wondering if Janet could have been the one who shot at William and Zurisadeh just weeks earlier in some sort of a jealous rage.
Thank you.
Fortunately, detectives are able to quickly contact Janet, and she agrees to come in for an interview.
Janet seems shocked that she was a suspect in Zurisadeh's murder.
She says she wants to clear her name and help police in any way that she can.
She does admit to having a romantic relationship with William Smith that had been going on for quite some time.
When did you first meet Mr. Smith?
Well, I met William probably when I was like 16.
We're talking about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
She tells investigators that during that time, William always had other girlfriends.
Janet knew about Zurisadeh. She knew that William was a player, but that didn't bother her.
The way he explained it to me, it was that he was messing around. So I said, okay, I don't think it's too much serious,
According to Janet, it was Zurisadeh who was jealous.
She did not like the idea of having to share him with another woman.
He starts calling my phone. She was just like, I'm his gal. He gonna always be my man.
Zuri had found out, and she was very upset. The situation became increasingly volatile. She would call at all hours and blow up her phone, telling her to stay away from her man.
I was just like, whatever. I never did say no talk, just like, whatever.
But Janet thinks that William took Zurisadeh's harassment more seriously.
She says she was worried about something that happened when she was hanging out with William the previous Friday, 3 days before Zurisadeh's body was found.
While they were together, William had put a gun in her lap.
He said that Zurisadeh had to go.
And he said, I want you to kill him.
What?
Detectives in Nashville, Tennessee, investigating the murder of Zurisadeh Villanueva, have learned that her boyfriend, William Durrell Smith, was involved with another woman, 21-year-old Janet Clausen. And now, Janet has told them that William urged her to kill Zuri Sadeh only a few days before she was found dead.
She says he had given her a gun and told her to use it to get rid of her rival.
He would say, I only want to be with you.
He said, I want you to kill him.
Janet tells detectives she was horrified at William's bizarre request.
Look, it's the only way to get her to leave us alone so we can be together.
I'm not gonna do that.
Janet says when she refused, he passed it off as a joke.
I'm just messing.
He's like, I'm just playing. I'm just gonna see what you're gonna do. I said, William, don't play with me like it.
However, Janet claims William's strange behavior only escalated from there.
Janet had just started to relax when he pulled out the gun. This time, he didn't put it in her lap.
Instead, he pointed the gun at her head.
You better not cry.
All of a sudden, I know, but I turn my head and the gun up to my head like this.
If you cry, we'll kill you. Are you going to be with me? Are you going to stand by my side?
Like, I know if I say, nah, he gonna shoot me. So I'm like, baby, I'll be with you. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing.
I think he was really losing his mind.
Got your back whenever you need.
Once I told him I was gonna be with him and to stay with him, he laid the gun down.
And a few days later, when she found out about her being found dead, her mind immediately went to William.
When detectives asked Janet where they could find William, she said that they should go talk to his father.
She had a reason to believe that William had been staying with him.
The next morning, detectives pay a visit to the home of William's father. When they ask him if he knows where his son is, they get a surprising answer.
Do you know where he is?
Yeah. He's taking a shower upstairs.
Come on in.
Lo and behold, William Darrell Smith was upstairs. And the father had allowed us in, and we talked to him. It's like, we really want to talk to him.
While detectives wait for William to come down, his father agrees to answer a few questions for them.
William Darrell Smith's father, he's a good and decent man. He talked to us.
Detectives start by asking William's father about his son's whereabouts in the hours surrounding Zuri Sadeh's murder. And that's when he drops a bombshell.
Shortly after Zuri Sadeh's body was found, William asked his father if he could accompany him on a day trip to Chicago.
I was going to Chicago to see my daughter. He wanted to go with me.
But curiously, William's father says his son drove separately.
William drove himself in a different car than the one that his father drove up in.
So both of y'all, you drove one car, he drove the other.
Yeah.
Even more strange, they left William's car in Chicago with a family member and rode back together.
And on the way back, William's father could tell his son was struggling.
They came back together, and he could tell something was wrong.
He's talking to me like, you want to cry.
When Mr. Smith later learned that Zuri Sadeh was dead, he understood why his son was acting strange.
From his viewpoint, of course, that must have been why his son was so upset.
It's then that detectives explain to William's father that they have reason to believe that his son may be Zuri Sadeh's killer.
What?
William's father was shocked. All this time, he thought that William was distraught, but never did he think he caused it.
Go ahead then.
As taken aback as he was, he knew what detectives needed to do.
Detectives head upstairs and find William in a bedroom.
Hey, William.
He clearly knew this was coming and didn't fight it.
All right, man.
He agreed to accompany them back to the station for questioning.
As detectives take William into custody, they make an important observation.
We did find a 9mm pistol.
Detectives collect the gun to compare it with shell casings found by Zuri Sadeh's body.
Meanwhile, at the North Precinct headquarters, William agrees to talk to police. At first, He denies having anything to do with Zuri Sadeh's death.
So what do you think happened? I gotta do something with some drugs. That's the only thing I can think of.
His stories turn from she was a big time drug dealer, and then he thinks that the cartel killed her, and that's why he didn't come talk to us because he was scared. That's the one headed out for.
Detectives don't buy it, so they turn up the pressure.
We didn't really bring you down here to ask you whether or not you shot her. Because we have all the information that we need. We know something happened between y'all that night.
We kept picking it apart until he finally admitted that he was with her that night.
He admits that he was responsible for Zuri Sadeh's death, but he insists it was self-defense.
I think he, like a lot of suspects, they give a statement that puts bad light on the victim and better light on themselves. He was advised at that point he was no longer free to leave.
Stand up, because you're under arrest.
Detectives arrest William and charge him with the murder of Zuri Sadeh Villanueva.
He was taken to Davidson County Jail and booked in for a criminal homicide charge, and we didn't have any more conversation with him after that.
That doesn't mean William won't talk.
He called his cousin Nikita Kirby from jail, maybe to unburden himself about what happened.
I never thought in my wildest dreams that he killed this girl. I just couldn't believe that part.
She got a shocking confession from him.
I went down that night. I went down.
In Nashville, Tennessee, homicide detectives working Zuri Sadeh Villanueva's murder case are listening to jail calls recorded between her boyfriend, William Durrell Smith, and his cousin, Nikita Kirby.
William wasn't very forthcoming with the detectives regarding the circumstances surrounding Zuri's murder, but he was forthcoming with Nikita.
In the calls, William tells Nikita that he and Zuri Sadeh got in a blowout fight over his infidelity on the night of June 3rd, 2007.
It got so heated that they had to pull over on the side of the road.
Part of the way through the conversation, he made the admission that she pulled the gun out. He said it. He got the gun away from her.
I went down that night.
Y'all got to fighting, and you took the gun, shot it.
But according to William, that wasn't the end of it.
She reached up and grabbed him.
He says he felt like he had no choice but to continue to defend himself, so he fired a second time.
So she came back at you and you shot in the head.
I went down.
When she asked why he hadn't called the police, he stated he panicked.
The next day, he decides to drive up to Chicago with his dad to leave the car there, just in case the police decided to take it for evidence.
Despite his admission, William tells Nikita he's confident that the truth will set him free.
He thinking he's coming home. I mean, he was in real good spirits, but I also knew it was delusion.
I find it hard for you to be able to tell me that she moved and I shot her again because I thought she was going to grab me.
Hoping to build an airtight case, investigators work with Chicago police to recover the car that William had left at a family member's house and have it brought back to Nashville.
A forensic examination of the car found one bullet hole in the rear door and 5 different blood stains inside of the car.
The police send the blood samples to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and the result is a match.
The blood does belong to Zuri Sadeh Villanueva, but other forensic evidence poses a problem for the prosecution.
Forensic tests done on the bullets recovered from the victim's body show that they weren't fired from the handgun that was recovered from William's parents' house.
Unfortunately, it did not match the ballistics to the gun that we had, but there was talk of several guns belonging to William Smith.
When the evidence is assembled, the district attorney goes to William Smith with a plea offer.
The DA, the detective, his attorneys, everybody asked me to talk to him and talk him out of taking this to trial. Take this deal that they offered him 18 years, and he would have did about 9, maybe 10, but he'd have been out.
William rejects the deal proposed by the district attorney.
He honestly thought he was going to be exonerated.
In March of 2010, William Durrell Smith goes on trial for murder.
According to the prosecution, William Durrell Smith had gotten in over his head in a messy love triangle.
And he hadn't gotten what he wanted from Zuri Sadeh.
He may have been trying to use her to elevate his status in life.
He wasn't just looking for a girlfriend. He was looking for a sugar mama.
When their attempt to buy a house fell through, he blamed Zuri Sadeh for their failure.
I think that's where his anger came from.
In the weeks that followed, William punished Zuri Sadeh repeatedly.
Domestic violence is never a one-time incident. It's a series of escalated incidents.
It doesn't always start with physical abuse, but the controlling behavior, the name calling, the humiliation, that's domestic violence too.
And in the end, it turned deadly.
He first asked the other woman that he was seeing, Janet Clausen, to kill Zuri, but she refused to do it.
I'm not gonna do that.
That's when William made the decision to kill Zuri Sadeh himself.
He drives her out to a remote stretch of highway on the outskirts of Nashville.
You mean to tell me that's a lie of all the money you got?
How are you calling me a liar when you got that girl on the side?
Shut up.
Prosecutors believe William dragged a still-breathing Zuri Sadeh out of the car, then fired again.
The second shot to the head was fatal.
After that, he drove off and left her.
He throwed her out on the side of the road like she just was nothing.
When it's the defense's turn, they argue that the state has failed to prove its case against William and that their client had only been trying to defend himself against Zuri Sadeh. But William's attorney fails to exclude some of the state's most important testimony.
The defense tried to keep Janet Clausen off the witness stand, but the judge allowed it, and she indeed testified that William had asked her to kill Zuri Sadeh.
After the jury retires for deliberations, it doesn't take long for them to return with their verdict.
12 members of a jury didn't buy his story.
There was no way these gunshots was self-defense.
William Durrell Smith is found guilty of first-degree murder.
The judge sentences him life in prison.
He hasn't called in almost 9 years. We haven't seen him. We don't know how he's doing. We don't know anything about what's going on with him.
The Villanueva family is glad that justice has been done, but still struggles to understand why Zuri Sadeh was taken from them.
People look back to see if they missed signs or if there were things that were happening that they didn't know about because everyone's trying to make sense of this horrible tragedy.